Canadians stunned. Carney quietly adds 39 staffers, $760K in new costs slam taxpayers. Canadians are fed up, and for good reason. While families across the country cut back on groceries, delay vacations, and pull back on spending just to make ends meet, Prime Minister Mark Carney's Liberal government is growing bigger and more expensive by the week. In a move that stunned both Parliament and taxpayers, Carney quietly appointed 39 new parliamentary secretaries, adding $760,000 in annual salary costs to an already bloated political operation. At a time when inflation continues to strain household budgets, this news has landed like a punch to the gut for Canadians wondering where their hard-earned money is going. The outrage isn't just about the number of staff or the money involved, though both are significant. It's about the timing and the message it sends. Canada is now halfway through its fiscal year, and the federal government still hasn't tabled a budget. That's right, no national budget, no clear spending plan, no forecast of revenue or deficits. For ordinary citizens, that would be unthinkable. Families plan their finances. Businesses set budgets. Even student councils balance the books. But this federal government has been flying blind, leaving Canadians in the dark about how public money is being spent. Mark Carney built his reputation as a disciplined, pragmatic economist. He ran 2 central banks and was once hailed as one of the world's most trusted financial leaders. Many Canadians hoped that when he took office, he would bring that same discipline to Ottawa. Instead, we're seeing the opposite. Not only is there no federal budget, but Carney is overseeing a rapid expansion of government, with little explanation and even less accountability. With 39 new political staffers added in one sweep, the number of ministers, junior ministers, and secretaries now stands at 77, an all-time high in Canada's history. The backlash in Parliament has been swift. Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre and his caucus have slammed the Carney government's bloated bureaucracy and called for immediate transparency. In question period, Poilievre demanded to know why the Liberals were growing their political payroll while ordinary Canadians were struggling to buy groceries and heat their homes. "This is not leadership," he said. "This is entitlement." Canadians deserve a government that spends less on itself and more on them. The data supports Poilievre's concerns. In Ontario alone, more than 1 million people visited food banks in the last year, a devastating record. In Toronto, unemployment is pushing 9%, and the cost of living continues to outpace wages. Meanwhile, small businesses are collapsing under the weight of taxes, debt, and high interest rates. Bankruptcies have jumped 20% year-over-year, and personal debt levels are at historic highs. When Canadians hear that their government is hiring dozens of new political appointees, it's hard not to feel abandoned. Worse still, Carney's government has pledged to raise military spending by $22 billion, bringing Canada's defense budget up to the NATO benchmark of 2% of GDP, or roughly $63 billion per year. While many agree that strengthening our military is essential in today's geopolitical climate, critics point out that making this kind of massive funding promise without a formal budget is irresponsible. Where will the money come from? What will be cut? Will new taxes be introduced? Canadians are being asked to trust a government that won't even show them the books. Carney's defenders claim the extra staff are needed to deliver results across a wide-ranging policy agenda that includes climate change, housing, reconciliation, and defense. But without a budget or performance metrics, those claims sound increasingly hollow. Canadians aren't seeing improvements, they're seeing delays, confusion, and growing frustration. Programs promised months ago remain unfulfilled. Services are slower. And now, the government's solution appears to be hiring more political insiders rather than solving problems. The 39 new secretaries are also raising eyebrows over whether these appointments are about effectiveness or political favor-trading. In a pre-election environment, the expansion looks more like a way to reward allies and cement power than to serve the public. It's the kind of move that fuels cynicism in politics, where insiders get jobs and bonuses while taxpayers are told to be patient. Ottawa has never felt more disconnected from the rest of the country. Even within Liberal circles, there are whispers of discontent. Senior officials, party insiders, and backbench MPs are reportedly nervous that Carney is repeating the mistakes of Trudeau's later years, promising everything to everyone while ignoring mounting fiscal warnings. The magic of being Canada's smart money guy is wearing thin, and Canadians are starting to ask tough questions. If this is what expertise looks like, why does it feel like the country is falling further behind? Across the country, provincial leaders are starting to push back. Premiers from Alberta, Saskatchewan, and Quebec have called for more clarity and accountability from Ottawa. They argue that without a federal budget, provinces are left guessing when it comes to transfer payments, program funding, and infrastructure support. Municipalities, too, are growing impatient as housing projects, transit expansions, and healthcare investments hang in limbo. The message is clear. Carney's silence is costing Canadians time and money. Carney insists his government is deliberative and thoughtful in its approach. But critics say it's really just slow and evasive. Delays in delivering a budget, vague promises of reform, and the quiet expansion of political ranks paint the picture of a government that's drifting. Canadians want leadership. They want vision. And more than anything, they want honesty. Right now, they're not getting any of it. With an election on the horizon, the stakes are high. Carney may still believe he can ride his reputation into a majority government, but that bet is looking riskier by the day. Canadians are watching. They're listening. And they're asking, if this is how the Liberals govern before the campaign starts, what will they do once the votes are counted? At the end of the day, it's not just about 39 staffers or $760,000. It's about what those numbers represent, a government that appears more interested in growing itself than serving the people who fund it. Until the Liberals table a budget, explain their spending, and show real results, that perception is only going to deepen.